The smarter your brain is, the harder it often becomes to feel satisfied with life. And if you've ever felt like your own mind is constantly working against your happiness, this video might explain why. You lie in bed replaying conversations from hours ago, wondering if everyone else moved on while your mind is still trapped there. You see things other people don't notice, patterns in behavior, hidden motives, contradictions in conversations, the subtle tension in someone's voice when they say they're fine. Your mind automatically connects dots that others walk past without seeing. At first, this sounds like a gift, but intelligence doesn't just make you better at understanding the world. It also makes you better at seeing everything that's wrong with it. And once your brain learns to see that, it never really turns off. Most people experience life on the surface. They take things as they appear. They accept explanations easily. They move from one day to the next without analyzing every detail of what happened or what it might mean. But your brain doesn't work like that. Your mind keeps digging. Why did they say that? What did they really mean? Why did that situation feel slightly off? Why do people behave in ways that contradict their own words? Your thoughts don't stop at the first answer. They keep going. And sometimes they go too far. Because intelligence comes with a side effect few people talk about. Your brain becomes very good at solving problems, but it also becomes very good at creating them. You replay conversations hours after they end. You analyze moments that most people would forget within minutes. You imagine different outcomes, different responses, different interpretations. And slowly, something strange happens. Your mind becomes louder than the moment you're living in. You might be sitting with friends, but part of you is observing the situation instead of feeling it. You might be enjoying something, but another part of your mind is questioning whether it actually matters. You might even catch yourself thinking about the meaning of things that were never meant to have meaning. And that's where the real struggle begins, because happiness often requires something your brain finds difficult. Simplicity, simple moments, simple pleasures, simple acceptance of things as they are. But an intelligent mind rarely accepts things as they are. It questions them. Take relationships, for example. Most people enter relationships guided by emotion. They feel attraction. They enjoy connection. They allow things to unfold naturally. But your brain starts analyzing the situation almost immediately. You notice inconsistencies. You notice patterns in their behavior. You start predicting how things might end before they've even fully begun. Your brain builds models of people, and once those models exist, it becomes difficult to stop evaluating them. Sometimes you even see the problems in a relationship long before they actually appear. Which sounds like an advantage. But it often turns into something else, distance. Because when your mind constantly analyzes people, it becomes harder to simply experience them. You start living in interpretations instead of moments. And slowly, that can make the world feel colder. And here's the part that's harder to admit. Your intelligence doesn't just analyze people. It quietly begins to distrust them. The more patterns you see in human behavior, the more predictable people start to feel, and the less genuine their emotions seem. And once your mind starts seeing people as patterns instead of mysteries, something dangerous happens. Connection begins to feel like an illusion. Another strange thing happens when your mind works this way. You become aware of things many people never think about, how fragile most beliefs are, how often people convince themselves of things that aren't true. How many systems in society run on invisible assumptions that nobody questions. You start noticing how much of the world is built on illusions people quietly agree not to examine. And once you see that, it's hard to go back to not seeing it. That awareness can make you feel isolated. Not because you're better than others, but because your mental world becomes more complicated. While others move through life guided by clear answers, Your mind keeps uncovering more questions, and questions rarely bring peace. But here's the darker twist most people don't realize. The real reason intelligent people struggle with happiness isn't just overthinking, it's expectation. When your brain works this way, you often imagine how things could be better, how conversations could be deeper, how relationships could be more honest, how people could behave more rationally, how systems could work more fairly. You constantly see the gap between what exists and what could exist, and the larger that gap becomes in your mind, the harder it becomes to feel satisfied with reality. Most people adapt to the world as it is, but intelligent minds often resist it. They compare reality to possibility, and possibility almost always wins that comparison, which means your mind is constantly aware of imperfections in people, in society, in yourself, especially in yourself. Because the same analytical mind that examines the world also examines you. Your mistakes, your choices, your conversations, your potential. You think about who you could have been if you made different decisions. You think about what you should be doing with your time. You think about whether you're wasting your abilities. And suddenly your own mind becomes a critic that never fully rests. Not loud enough to destroy you, but persistent enough to quietly drain your peace. But here's the strange part. That same mind, the one that sometimes makes happiness harder, is also capable of something rare. Deep awareness. The ability to understand people at levels most never reach. The ability to see beauty in complexity. The ability to question assumptions that shape entire lives. The ability to recognize truth hiding behind comfortable illusions. In other words, the same mind that complicates happiness also deepens experience, which means the goal was never to silence your mind, because you can't. And trying usually makes it louder. The real challenge is something much subtler. Learning when to stop thinking and start observing. Not every moment needs analysis. Not every silence hides meaning. Not every imperfection needs solving. Sometimes the mind that sees everything has to learn to let some things remain unseen. Because happiness doesn't always come from understanding life. Sometimes it comes from stepping outside your thoughts long enough to actually live it. And if your mind has ever made you feel like you're thinking too much, seeing too much, questioning too much, then maybe the problem isn't that your mind is broken. Maybe it's simply doing exactly what it was designed to do. And the real question is this: can you learn to live with a mind that sees the world this clearly, without letting it steal the simple moments that make life worth living?